I need to collect 103,908 pieces of stone so that I can build this mountain in hardcore Minecraft. But if I tried to do that by hand, I would never get done. So today we're going to be building this insane cobblestone farm to help us get all the blocks we need. Now first things first, this stone farm is going to be kind of like a factory floating on islands that are suspended above the water. So the first thing we need to do is actually collect the blocks that are going to make up the mountains. Fortunately, in preparation for our big mountain transformation video that will be coming out in a few weeks, I have began collecting a lot of blocks, so we actually should have a good bit of what we need already right here. So we'll start by just scooping up a few shulker boxes full of stone, and then we will also need some snow blocks. We'll follow that up with some tuff, but unfortunately we need some andesite. We also need diorite, cobblestone, and cobbled deep slate. So we're headed all the way down through our mining district and into the caverns to collect the first and easiest block on this list, which is cobblestone. And with that block checked off our list, we're free to move down towards deep slate and set up a beacon, where we can now spend the next few hours collecting all the cobbled deep slate we will need. But alright, after spending a couple of hours of mining up deep slate, it's time to craft up some deep slate variant blocks. The first of which is a bunch of cobbled deep slate slabs. Then we'll need some deep slate tile slabs. We'll need some deep slate tile stairs, followed by some deep slate bricks, deep slate brick stairs, deep slate brick walls, cobbled deep slate stairs, and finally some regular deep slate tiles. And that should be all the deep slate blocks we'll need. So the next thing we're going to do is just take down our beacon here. Now we are going to head up and search for some more diorite, because I actually think that is one of the last underground blocks we need today. The best part is I actually stopped inside of the old super smelter here, and I was looking through these chests, and I managed to find almost 2 full shulker boxes full of andesite, which means we won't have to go out and collect that. But with that, we were on to our diorite mining session, which fortunately did not take very long at all. And then we just simply repeated our deep slate process by turning some of our diorite into diorite stairs, walls, and slabs. There we go, we've got all of our stone blocks collected, so now it's time to fly out past the iron farm and head over into the frozen ocean where this build is actually going to be placed. Now, it is pretty big, so in order to make room for it, we're actually going to have to clear out one of these icebergs by hand. But the good news is, after this is done, we'll have a bunch of leftover packed ice that we could use for potentially another highway or something. I don't know, I don't have any plans to do that, but having all of these ice blocks left over will be pretty nice. And while we start taking down this iceberg, I wanted to take a quick moment to say thank you to all of my Patreon members and channel members. You guys have really been coming through over the past couple of months, and I can't thank you enough for everything. And for those of you who aren't subscribed to my Patreon, consider checking it out. For just $10 a month, you'll get access to things like exclusive Discord roles, ad-free versions of all my videos, and access to the schematics for everything I've ever made in hardcore Minecraft, which at this point is over 2 years worth of builds. But thank you for your consideration, and let's get back to the video. But with the iceberg removal checked off our to-do list, it was time to start building the actual mountains. And honestly, when I was designing these in creative mode before I brought them into survival, I had a lot of fun with the actual design process. Mainly because I knew that these were going to be really good practice mountains for when we go to build the much bigger mountain. And I used a whole bunch of different layering techniques here, going over the mountains multiple times with different brushes to get the shape and the stone I wanted, and also going over it multiple times with texturing to get the colors I wanted. Alright, so the bases of both mountains are done, and I have to say, they look absolutely fantastic. I'm very happy with the way these have turned out, although there are a few holes in them, as you can see, and that is because, for the first time in forever, I am actually ahead of schedule. I've already designed the structures that are going to go on top of them, so I had to leave some spaces in between to make room for the things that are going to be actually inserted into the mountain. But before I can get started on building those, I actually have to complete the bridge that I've started building in the middle section here. Alright, so the bridge is kind of done. I say kind of done because we're going to do more to it later, but if we look at it for now in free cam mod real quick from the direction we'll most frequently be visiting this place. Oh yes, that's very cool. That is very cool. I like it a lot. Now, real quick before we move on, I want to address why this part is cobblestone and this part is diorite. I'm trying to simulate snow, and the buildings we're going to be making actually come over the bridge a little bit. So the parts that are going to be covered by rooftops, I tried to make it look like there was less snow on them by using cobblestone, and then obviously we don't have snow stairs in the game, so where it's more exposed, I had to use diorite to simulate kind of this dirty, piled up snow covering the rest of the bridge, so that's what I did there. But anyways, I'm very happy with how it turned out, and now it's time to get on to building the actual houses and structures that are going to go up here, which of course means it's time to collect a few more blocks. And I'm going to start with all the wood variant blocks that we need, and I'm gonna get the most difficult wood type out of the way first, which of course is the mangrove. Should be a swamp somewhere right around here. Where are we on the map? Yeah, okay, it's right in here. Now, mangrove wood is notoriously hard to collect, and we are going to need a lot of it. I'm talking trapdoors, fences, fence gates, the whole 9 yards. So everybody, please wish me luck, because I haven't needed to collect this much mangrove wood since season 1, episode 1 of my hardcore series, when we built the Sunset Castle. But with the mangrove wood collected, it was time to move on to the next wood block, which was spruce. And to be honest with you, I was very nervous about this one. We were going to be needing a couple thousand pieces of spruce logs, so I knew this was going to be a session that took a couple of hours. However, I ended up getting really lucky, and we actually had a couple double chests already filled with spruce from one of our last projects. Don't ask me which one, I have absolutely no idea. I completely forgot we had all of this, but it's good news nonetheless. Unfortunately, we were going to need about the same amount of oak wood, and I had literally 0 pieces left. But this area that's across the river from my starter island is going to be transformed into something anyways, so I spent the next couple of hours collecting oak wood from this region. But now with the oak wood collected, it was time to just do some crafting. So I started by turning a lot of the logs into planks, and then we were also going to be needing some dark oak fences and fence gates. And fortunately, I had a few stacks left over, so we weren't going to have to collect this block either. And I gotta tell you guys, this is when playing on one single hardcore world for over 2 years really starts to pay off. There are so many blocks in this video that I normally would have had to collect, but because we've done so many projects in the past, I had a lot of those blocks left over, and it saved saved me a ton of time. This video is going to be short. But anyways, we then went down under our bone meal farm to craft up a few jungle trapdoors. And then I quickly whipped up some white stained glass because we were going to need that for something later in the video. And we were also going to need black dye, gray dye, and light gray dye. So I took a quick little dip in the pool to kill some squids. And then we crafted up the rest of the glass we would need. Next up on the to-do list is actually visiting the Nether. There are actually a few different blocks we're going to need, but to start, we're going to have to collect over 2,000 pieces of netherrack, which with an efficiency 5 netherite pickaxe, that shouldn't take all that long. And that in fact did not take long at all. Before I knew it, we were done and over at the gold farm repairing our tools, and then it was on to collecting a bunch of blackstone. And once we had completed mining up all the blackstone, we then just followed the same process as before and turned the blackstone into a bunch of blackstone variant blocks. And finally, all that was left to collect was a bunch of soul sand. You see, we were going to need a bunch of red nether brick blocks, so I went up to our mountain mining area and set up a temporary nether wart farm, and then I went ahead and threw a bunch of the netherrack inside of our super smelter so we could actually get the nether bricks. Then, once that was done, we just threw them in a crafting table together to get what we needed. And with that, the last few blocks had been collected, and it was time to get back to building. Alright, so the exterior of our first building is basically done, and I have to say I am very happy with how this turned out. If we go into free cam mod once again and we look over the ocean from this direction, look at that. Look at how sick this looks. Now on the roof, of course, you can see that there's still a few blocks missing. I've done that for a reason. Later in the video, we're going to come back in with some snow layers once I collect them, and we're going to make the snow on top look a bit more seamless and smooth using said snow layers. But I'm very happy with the direction this has taken so far. Kind of almost industrial, steampunk-ish, but not quite yet. I wanted to make it look like, you know, the villagers of this area are just now discovering like steam engines and stuff. So they are right on the cusp of that like big technological jump. They haven't quite figured it out yet, but this is like the beginning of that phase for them. You know, most of the things I do in this world are medieval, so I thought this would be a good chance for me to experiment with some maybe higher forms or slightly higher forms of technology, and I think this turned out absolutely gorgeous. Like I've even got like snow detailed on the pipes and everything, on the tubes. Very happy about that. But anyways, the interior of this building actually really shouldn't go in here right now. Yeah, there's a lot of mobs in there, so I'm gonna have to go collect some torches, and while I do that, this building is actually going to be the building that houses the super smelter. We're gonna have a bigger super smelter in here, so I need to fly back home real quick, and honestly, I gotta set up another portal out there. It takes way too long to fly back and forth. But what we're going to do for right now is actually tear down the super smelter that is in our mining district here. Reason being is that I really want to have a more frequent reason to visit this location out here than just using, you know, the stone generator that we're eventually going to have. If we have the super smelter out here too, we'll have to visit much more often. But anyways, we're just going to... Oh... Hello, experience. We're just gonna scoop up all of these furnaces. How quickly we're gaining levels. The amount of items I have sent through the super smelter and I've never cleaned it out. I forgot that the experience inside of the furnaces was a thing that we were gonna have to deal with, but you know what? I'll take it. After a couple of hours of building the exteriors, I went to the interior of the first building and finally got the new super smelter set up. And this one is much bigger than the first, so we'll be able to smelt a lot more items. And I'm not sure if you guys noticed or not, but during the process of building the exterior, when I had one of the first layers done, I decided it would be a good time to put in the cobblestone generator so I could have that running and collecting items while we built. And to be completely honest with you guys, I messed up a few times and had the TNT duper blow up on me more than once, but after messing around with it for a little bit, I finally got it up and running. Alrighty, so about after an hour or two of AFKing here, all of these chests are now filled with cobblestone. Well, most of them are. There's still a few slots left here. Now, I have no idea how many blocks this is. This farm is supposedly 29,000 cobblestone per hour. I'm not gonna lie, it feels a little bit slower than that, but these are a lot of double chests here. I could absolutely be wrong. We could be way over budget. I have absolutely no idea. I also moved it up from below the floor here and put it more towards the top of the build. That way we don't have to actually go down into the cavern that's below us to get anything out of the chest. We can just access it all from right here. Now, before we end the video today, there is a few more things I want to do. Namely, the first thing is we need to, oh my god, there's a creeper. Hello. Oh, okay, fool. Okay, so I guess we need to light this place up. That is one thing we definitely need to do. Excuse me, sir. But before we fight all those mobs, we need to get some kind of door down here so we can actually access the interior of this place. I do plan to do an interior in here eventually, since it is a more central build. We're going to be spending a lot of time in here in the near future, but for now we're just going to do something temporary. I'm going to craft up a couple doors here, and we'll just put these in the middle and then surround them with trapdoors. Do a pretty simple and easy big door design today just to get this over with. We'll just close all these up. Do have mangrove planks left over, and I should, somewhere in my inventory, I should have shelves left as well. Shelves and stairs, that is. I believe we have the stairs right here. Let's throw these in. Maybe do something like this. My inventory is absolutely just all over the place after all of this building, man. Oh my lord. We do have some shelves left and we do have some trap doors left. So let's go ahead and throw those in there. I don't think that looks that bad. I think that's okay. We can deal with that, right? It's better than nothing. We do also need to do the same thing about over here, so we'll remove this wall. It looks okay. I wonder, can we get any more stairs in here? Maybe we can do something like this. How weird is that gonna look, though? Definitely looks too weird. So what if we took out these walls and just put in some more stripped logs to frame the door? How would that look? That looks pretty good. We'll leave it. At least now we have entrances. And right as it starts to rain. Perfect. But actually, it's not perfect, because what I need to do now is work on the outside of this build. First thing I need to do is place torches everywhere so we don't get mobs. All the mobs are taken care of and we've got the area lit up. We can come in, and I want to start building out some like really big snow banks along the edge of the bridge here. And I kind of just want to make it look like this place, the bridge in particular, really has not been well maintained for a little bit. I know that kind of doesn't make a lot of sense because I just got got done explaining how this place has, a bit more advanced technology than normal, and we're going to be visiting here frequently, but I think it would just help the build feel a little bit more immersive if we had a bunch of snow everywhere. So we're going to try it out. Something like that would be good, and then hopefully we're going to be able to use all of these snow layers here to smooth out these transitions a little bit. Fortunately though, the torches are going to melt them, so we're gonna have to remove these and figure out a different way to light up this area, but we will figure it out eventually as we go along here. And obviously I don't want this to be too extremely detailed, just a little bit more snow layers here and there to help blend the different layers together would be nice. Yeah, even something like that doesn't look bad. There we go. This definitely feels a lot better, and I like the way this turned out. I'm just gonna come through the middle path here and clear up all these extra bits though, because I do want the path to be visible kind of through the middle here to make it look like it's been trampled on and everything. So we'll remove that, just lead right up to the door here, which works out perfectly. But anyways, we're going to press on with some snow detailing here. We're going to fill this place up as much as possible, something like that. And we'll do the same thing over here. There we go. And oh yes, that looks a lot better. That looks so much better like that. And we just went ahead and did the same thing in a few spots, and I think both of these buildings are done. And so that will do it for me today, guys. I hope you all have enjoyed this video, but once again, I have to get going because I've got a mountain to build.